What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Thrifty back with Thrifty PS Gamer Reviews. Today we will be covering Awaken Astral Blade. It's a game that just released on October 22nd of 2024 and is developed by Dark Pigeon Games out of China. This is part of the China Hero Project. It is a Metroidvania game that is in the same vein as, well, of course, Metroid, Castlevania, Bloodstained, and Fist. It is a side-scroller in every sense of the word that will have you going from sector to sector to sector, back again, to and from, trying to collect all the upgrades and in-game currency you can to make your character an unstoppable force. Speaking of character, you are a bionic named Tanya, who has been given a mission by Dr. Herverus to go rescue a team of investigators in the rainforest of the Horus Islands. The rainforest has been heavily mutated by Carpus energy, and you have quite a heavy task on your hands as you continue to explore more and more of the rainforest. But more on that in the story section of the review. So where is this and how much is it? When the game is available for purchase from PSN and Steam right now. It is $25 on the PSN and $20 on Steam. There is a 10% sale on both right now. Hit that like button and subscribe with notifications on, and let's get into the rest of the game. Starting with gameplay. Gameplay is king in these type of games, with no exception here. This game will have you jumping, running, grabbing, double jumping, attacking, dodging, and comboing off in every main section and hidden tunnel you come across. You will be searching for ether and Carpus crystals to upgrade Tanya to strengthen her for the upcoming fights. With regards to that, you will have a basic skill tree, passive skill tree, and 3 weapon trees to manage over the course of the game's many levels and side paths. All 6 of these skill trees take ether, and that can be a bit annoying, because the game doesn't really give you any of that at a generous rate. The enemies are challenging and can sometimes feel impossible, especially the boss fight. But the game has a built-in mechanic that is pretty sweet. The game will provide you the option to lower the difficulty if you are repeatedly dying to a boss. Then, if you keep dying, it will offer you a thing called a rookie soul. This will give your character 20% health and attack after each death to a boss. I love this because it makes it to where anybody can enjoy the game at whatever challenge level they want. I will also say that once you engage at your next save spot, your health and attack power will return to normal. There is an option to never be asked this question again if you prefer a challenge or more of a challenging playthrough. For me, this is perfect. Let's move on to sound and voice work. Let me start off by saying that I love the music in the game. It is really well done. I also enjoy the sound effects with the swords and all of her abilities, and everything seems to go well together. This is a game that I have not had to change a lot of the settings on, which is a rarity for me, so I really appreciate that the sound mix was done so well. When it comes to voice work, I played the game with the English voice, and Tanya is great. Everybody else, not that good. I think the game ran out of budget because certain parts seem like they should have been voiced, but were not. I wish I had more to say here, but I don't, so let's just move on to the story. The story is one that we have seen several times before. We will join in on Tanya's adventure as she wrestles with free will and emotions that a bionic shouldn't be able to experience. This will be portrayed by another computer program joining Tanya and existing inside her programming. I thought that this premise was a really cool way to show what having a conscience would look like for an android or a bionic. Through a series of events that I don't really want to spoil, Tanya is on a mission for freedom and independence as much as she is on a mission to rescue and help people. Some of the twists are completely telegraphed, but you do get plenty of reasons to keep playing and keep engaging with the gameplay. One of the things that really bothers me about the story is how it is presented through the voice work, which is good, but it looks like the game didn't have enough time to complete the voice work like I had mentioned earlier. Some of the text boxes that you will encounter have an auto feature to them that you cannot turn off, turn down, slow down, or anything like that. So I have missed out on quite a bit of lore because I can't catch everything that's being said, and I think that's because they originally had all the text boxes timed out for voice work, but never got to complete the work. I have no confirmation that's what was going on, but that's what it feels like. It is very frustrating because I can't slow it down. You can pause some of them and then unpause, but that is annoying and very immersion breaking. I would rather just skip the dialogue and go back to the gameplay. Speaking of gameplay, one of the things that ties in heavily with it is the combat. This is where the game is enjoyable but not great. You have basic attack combos, you have special attacks, but only a very limited number of either. You also have a couple different weapon options. A lot of the combat plays out the exact same, with you needing to do the exact same thing for the bosses. Parry, dodge, go back in with a combo that you've used 100 times already, and kill the boss. With that criticism, though, the combat is still fun and enjoyable. It's just not blowaway. The enemy variety is also sparse in Astral Blade, with several enemy types repeating, even within different sections of the game and different biomes. The combat does control well with that parry and dodge mechanic I already mentioned, so you will be required to learn them, even with the rookie soul. Let's move on to graphics and performance. This title does run at 60 FPS, and the picture quality looks great. The colors are bright, and the burst effects are everywhere. One of my favorite burst effects is when you die and your body turns into this white burst of energy and everything is kind of done in slow-mo. It looks really, really cool. The performance, however, at 60 FPS can be pretty jittery. This mainly happens when changing vertical position while moving left or right, which I know you're like, well, that's just playing video games. Sort of, but explaining that a little further, it happens mainly in those areas where you're going from like an open screen or an open area on the top side of the screen to going to the right and to the left and down or up into a cavern or from a cavern into a more open space. Like in that transition, you're going to get a lot of stuttering and a lot of juddering and jittering. It's one of the things that bothered me a lot. But because the issue has not happened in combat or during a boss encounter, I have just kind of dealt with it. The game has not released a patch as of the recording of this video. I do love the character design and the art they did for the enemies. Some of the bosses look pretty wild. So, let's get into my final thoughts. The gameplay loop is really good. The voice actress for Tanya is amazing. I wish they would have been able to add more voice work or let me control the speed of the dialogue boxes. I would have loved to have seen more enemy variety and combat variety. The performance of the game in a few selective spots can be very annoying with stuttering and frame pacing. Honestly, it's really hard to rate this one. It does a lot right. It does a few things wrong, and sometimes it's a mess. I would say possibly give this game a 6.5 out of 10 for just your normal gamer, and an 8 out of 10 if you like Metroidvania games. I think the 1.5 difference in the score is justified with some of the things that I have encountered. If you have never played a Metroidvania, I would not make this your first. If you like them, then this should be right up your alley, and you will find that the $20 to $25 price tag will be well worth it. Thank you for stopping by for my review of Awaken Astral Blade. Have you played it? Do you agree? Like, subscribe, comment, and stay thrifty.